Hello everyone, it's Ashley Rose, back finally for another video. I think it's been months, maybe like 6 months at this point. I haven't done the math, but it's been a little while. I've been busy, I've been working, I've been, going through stuff, mental health, journey, pandemic stuff. You guys know the drill. But I'm back just to have a little fun video with you guys. And we're just gonna chat a little bit and see where it takes us because I don't really have anything planned. So why don't we talk about hobbies? Something weird that I've found now that I'm out of college and out of, competitive volleyball and out of a lot of structure in my life is that obviously it's up to you to set, whatever structure you're going to have. And so hobbies end up being a lot of those things, or can, for a young adult. And so for me, I've done some volleyball recently. It's a league, so it's still competitive because we play games against each other, but it's not like elite, or it's not like that high level so much as playing in college or in club or anything like that. But yeah, so I've done some volleyball. I do some art sometimes, scrapbooking, hand lettering, stuff like that. But the interesting thing is, with work, it gets really tiring. And so even though, unlike school, when you're done with work, if you're lucky, when you get home, you don't have to do any more work. You can really just leave it behind. And that's, as it should be. You get your balance. But even so, being so tired after work, it's really hard to get the motivation and the energy to do things. And to be perfectly honest with you guys, I can't say 100% what percent of that, what extent of that is my personal situation or depression versus actual this is what it's like for a young adult who works. But I think it's kind of true that it's harder to do as much stuff as an adult as you're used to doing when you're younger, all the different activities and homework and clubs and friends hangouts and all that stuff. And so that's an interesting thing that I've found, which is I have objectively I have time to do things, and I have a bunch of interesting hobbies to try out or to do more of, but I really haven't been finding the time for a lot of them. And instead I'll be looking at my phone for a long time, or just sleeping a lot of the time, or I don't even know where the time goes sometimes. And that's true of weekends, but also just weeknights. And so I think that's probably a downside of working full time, at least so far, is just that lack of energy. And even though you have that after work time, it's hard to feel like you're really utilizing it for anything but recovery. And volleyball is nice because it's scheduled times, and I have a team of people who are counting on me. So even though it's very different from the volleyball I was used to, it's easier to actually go because it's scheduled and there's structure to it. Because it's volleyball is obviously something I love, but so are these other hobbies and things that I would be doing. And we're not even including housework right now, cleaning and that stuff is also things I should be doing and don't have energy for. And those things I don't love as much, but even disregarding those, it's hard to do things. So yeah, that is something that I found, and I know it potentially will get better over time. And I think part of it is probably like finding the effort or finding the way to like schedule in some of those things and not overdo it, but like to get some interesting things done in your life. But I do happen to know that this is, at least for me, more of a timing of life thing rather than a structure of life thing, because I did some internships during college, and it was like 40 hours a week, a tech like company, 8 hours a day, like same sort of situation as I have here. And to be fair, it was not only a different time in my life, but also a different time in the world. It wasn't a pandemic. I was in a different location, so it's not a perfect comparison, but I was still in college. Like, it was just the summer, and so I was still in that mindset of like doing the things, training for volleyball, doing the workouts, like keeping on top of things. So I played volleyball like 3 or 4 times a week, plus like cooked myself dinner, I watched TV, I saw like friends. I think I did some other like hobbies and things to some extent. I did workouts outside of volleyball. And I still felt like I had energy for all that stuff. So, I mean, like internships are very different from real work, but the structure is the same. And so it's really interesting to see that difference here. And I think part of it's like what you're used to in your life, I guess, like, going and going and going. If you're used to like never stopping for a break, then it's easier to maintain that. I mean, until you get to a point where you can't. But like, if you're used to that pace, then when that pace occurs, it's not going to take you aback, and it's not going to be as hard to figure it out. So that is something, and I think it's something that like makes me a little bit disillusioned, and hopefully, like, I know that things can change, and I don't know what things are going to look like in the future, or like how other people like manage it, but it's a little bit disillusioning because I don't want to just like live my life like only like working and then being tired the rest of the time and never doing anything. That just seems like a very sad life to me. So that's a little dark or a little bleak perhaps, but that is kind of how I think about it. So I definitely need to figure out what the balance is and how real adults kind of do this in a way that is satisfying for them. But yeah, that's one of the things that's been going on in this time in between, is figuring out that balance and working through it. So I'm curious if any of you guys have similar experiences or ideas on like what you heard here. You can let me know in the comments, or message me, whatever you want to do. And also like, yeah, like, what do you think about the way that adult life is structured? I'm very curious to know how other people feel about this. So thank you for listening to my little random sort of rant, explanation, thought pattern. And if you liked this video, give it a thumbs up, and you can subscribe to my channel, and maybe I'll post some more stuff soon. We'll see. Don't get your hopes up, but you never know. And yeah, thank you again. I am Ashley Rhodes, signing off for today. Bye.